Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Feeding People podcast. I'm Amy Dolan, your host, and I am so excited to be with you today and even more excited for my guest today. She is a teacher, a high school teacher on the south side of Chicago. She lives in the Bronzeville neighborhood of Chicago, which is just the neighborhood right next to me. So we are Chicago neighbors. And most importantly, she is the fabulous creator behind the Instagram account Chicago Master List. Please welcome my guest, Chloe Keene. Hi, Chloe.
Hi, Amy. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I'm so happy to have you today. I'm so excited about the conversation we're going to have today. Let's start first by giving a giant shout out to the person responsible for this conversation today, my sister-in-law, Katie Woolbecker.
Yeah, Katie.
She introduced us to each other, and I'm so happy that she did. How do you know Katie?
We went to college together.
Went to college together. This is so great. Okay, I love this. So we've got that connection already. And also, I think really what everybody wants to know today, Chloe, is our Enneagram numbers.
Of course. That's what the people are dying to know.
I think it's what the people are dying to know. So what is your Enneagram number, Chloe?
My Enneagram number is 7. I'm a type 7.
Oh, you're a type 7. That is so ironic because I am a type 7 also.
No way.
My husband Kelly is a type 7 who's producing this episode. We've got 3 type 7s on the episode today. So, I mean, Chloe, let's just prepare the listeners today. Like, what are they in for? We have 3 7s.
Yeah. They're in for a good time, first and foremost. In for a lot of fun stories, hopefully. Fun anecdotes, might be a little, just a little all over the place, but I trust that you are going to keep us on track. And probably some themes of like getting out there and enjoying life, which I think 7s are really good at.
Yeah, 7s are so good at that. I mean, basically, I feel like what you said is they're in for a party. Is what's supposed
That's
to
basically
happen.
what it is.
Do you feel, Chloe, like when you walk into a room, just like the energy lifts, like you kind of like bring the party into whatever room you're in?
I would like to say so, maybe a little bit. Yes, I do try and bring some party with me wherever I go. I really enjoy doing what I can to make sure everyone is having a good time around me. So yeah, just like bringing other people into the conversation, or if it's like, let's start a game. Does anyone want to play a game? I'm like, yes, let's do the game. Let's play the game. Let's do
play
it.
A game.
We're going to have so much fun, hopefully not in a forceful way, but just, like, yeah, let's do it. If that's the vision, let's bring it into reality. So
I love that. I love thinking about like how I can bring like fun energy into it so that everyone else is having fun and feeling good too.
Yeah.
That's a really nice thing.
Yeah. We all just want to have a good time.
We all just want to have a good time. That's right. Exactly. Okay, Chloe, let's get this party started.
Let's do it.
Tell me about yourself and tell me, so you were born in Detroit and then moved to Chicago. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about Detroit and Chicago and like how you got to this beautiful city and all of it.
Yes. So the story starts in Detroit. I was born and raised there, Detroit, Michigan. And love it there. I often say that I'm never home, but I'm always repping. I am a Detroiter very proudly. I think Detroit builds really beautiful people. Like, I mean, my whole family is there, so that I'm a little biased, obviously. But I think some of the kindest, like most warm-hearted, and like also like hardworking and resilient and just like lovely people that I know are from Detroit. And so I'm very, very proud to hail from there. I moved to the Chicagoland area, not to the city. I went to school in the burbs, in the west suburbs, and that's where I met Katie. I was out there for a couple of years for undergrad and grad school, and Then took a job with Chicago Public Schools. And that was, we're coming up on the end of my 4th school year, but I moved in August 2020. So
wow.
Yeah, still coming up on 4 years, my 4th full year in the city, which is really exciting. I've been in the area almost 10, it'll be 10 years, which is insane. 10 years
Amazing.
In August in kind of the Chicagoland area, but in the city for almost 4.
Amazing. Well, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're a neighbor and you're here in Chicago.
I love that.
Tell me what food means to you, or what food and cooking was like for you as you grew up and then as you became an adult.
Yeah. For me and my family, we had dinner at the dinner table every single night.
Wow.
And so, and I think, thinking back on it, I like realize how much of a gift that is now. Just because, it's so easy to like eat dinner on the couch in front of the TV in your room by yourself. And none of those things are inherently like a bad thing, but it was like really a time for us to like come together, eat together, share a meal, laugh, like ask each other how our days were. We had like, spiritual conversations. We had really goofy conversations. We had hard conversations around the dinner table together. And when we're all back home, because now 3 of the 4 of the Keene siblings are adults now, which is crazy as well. And so when it happens that we're all back home for holidays or whatever, my parents will usually say like, we got everybody back around the table now. But yeah, it really was, food was a place to like meet and come together and, just like hear each other out. My family is like a family of relatively adventurous eaters. I would say I'm maybe me and my dad are tied for most adventurous. But overall, we're like very open to trying lots of different foods. And so I definitely learned to appreciate that growing up as well. It's kind of continued to be that for me now. Food is a way to, just connect with other people over, a shared meal. It's like we all got to eat, like
we've all got to eat.
We all got to eat. So it's common ground, but like a place to connect, to catch up, in a way that like somehow feels sometimes lower stakes than like a coffee or some other, I don't know, some other way of getting together.
My gosh, I love that. Can you say more about that? Like, I've never thought about that before. It is such a functional, practical thing. Like, we've got to eat dinner, so why not do it together?
Yeah.
Say more about that. How does it feel like a lower stake to you? I love that idea.
Yeah, I think there's something very like routine and very, I don't know, like we've been eating, we've all been eating all our lives. And and so, there's something about coming to the table where it's like, the food is ready. We set the table, or we, if we're out, we wait for our food. I think it feels so familiar. Like it's something that we're also, just accustomed to. And I think it, and I think sometimes you can get really excited about the food itself. Like it gives you something I think immediately to talk about as well. And so if you're talking to an old friend, then conversation might come easily. But if it's someone new or newer to you or someone you haven't seen in a while, I think food can be an easy topic to start the conversation as things get rolling as well.
I love that. It's so true. Gotta eat. Why not connect over food? And I sometimes feel like even just like I drop my guard a little bit because there's something very vulnerable about eating, right?
Yeah.
Like you're making choices. Your mouth is open.
You're like,
right? There's like a lot of things that
down. Yeah, that
it's dribbling down your face.
It's true. It's true.
And of course, with all the, we have a lot of judgment and shame around food in our country, and we judge each other's bodies and our own bodies. And so like, it is a very vulnerable thing to sit down at a table with someone and say like, this is what I'm choosing to eat. And you're going to watch me eat. And I don't know what you're going to think of that. And who knows what I'll think of you. And it's a beautiful thing to, I think we need to remind ourselves of that. Like when we sit down, how vulnerable it is. Yeah. And then when a connection is made, how special that is. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about your Instagram account, Chicago Master List, because it's so cool and so good. Let's first tell me like how it came to be, because it's just this incredible account where you keep lists of Chicago restaurants, which is what we all need, right? We were just talking about this, about how like when someone asks you, what's your favorite restaurant? I go blank. I'm like,
I still do.
I suddenly have no idea. Right. So we all need great accounts like yours where we can like reference, where is it that I wanted to go? What did Chloe recommend? What's going on? So tell me how Chicago Master List came about, and like, what is your vision for this?
Yeah. Let's see, to take it back a little bit. It started, before it was an Instagram account, it was a list on Google Maps. And that's where I keep track of everything. So I usually keep two lists. I keep one of all of the restaurants, bars, and coffee shops that I've been to within Chicago city limits. And then I keep another list of Chicago restaurants to try, is the title. And that can come from anywhere. So it can be recommendations from friends, from coworkers, things I find online, because I follow a ton of food bloggers and, Instagrammers. Yeah. Or just like sometimes I'll drive by somewhere or see somewhere on Google Maps. And I'm like, that looks good, or interesting at least. And so they can come from anywhere, but I collect them there. And then my first year of teaching was the pandemic year. And my second year of teaching was the year we all came back into the buildings, the school buildings, which was some people would argue was harder than the pandemic year, even in certain ways, just because we were all trying to figure out what normal looked like again. And it was a challenging 2 years for a lot of reasons. And I found myself just giving a ton of my time and my energy to work, which, some people say in your first couple of years as a teacher, that's like normal, or at least, it's what a lot of people experience in their first couple of years of teaching. But I just knew at the end of my second year of teaching that I needed to find ways to like take care of myself, and find things to pour my energy and time into that I enjoyed, just like for me, just like for the love of the game, for the, for the pure enjoyment of it. And I was like, okay, well, what do I enjoy? Sometimes people ask like, what are your hobbies? And I'm like, that question is always like, I promise I'm a fun person, but I'm like, what are my hobbies? And I genuinely tell people when they ask, I really enjoy going to restaurants or bars or coffee shops I haven't been to before. And then sometimes people look at me kind of like, it's not really a hobby, but I spend a lot of time on it. And so when I realized I was already putting a ton of time into it, I said like, what if I made this an Instagram for other people who might enjoy it? And somewhere in 2022, I started posting just places that I've been that I really enjoy, with like little reviews, pictures of the food or the coffee or whatever I had, pictures of the atmosphere of the place. And, there's people who have like thousands and thousands and thousands of followers on Instagram for their food content, or, Chicago restaurant content. I call it the Chicago food social media circuit. And I knew, especially starting out, like I won't be there immediately, and I may never be there, and that's okay. Because I'm doing it. It's my little passion project. So that's how I came to be, though, out of the Google Maps lists and a need
out of the Google Maps list and a pandemic year teaching.
Yes, yeah, that's it.
I love it. There's so many beautiful things that have emerged from the horribleness of the pandemic. Yeah. And I think this is one of them.
Yeah, thanks.
So what have you noticed as you have as you've taken like your private Google Maps list and turned them into an Instagram account? Like, what have you noticed about yourself, or like the way that you're, experiencing restaurants and then sharing them in such a public way?
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's fun. I really enjoy it. A lot of my friends follow the account, which is like the best. I have the best friends, and it's fun because I think a lot of my friends will like text me or ask me like, oh, where should I go for this? Or, I'm trying to take someone out to a nice dinner. Like, where should I take them for that? And so it's fun to be able to kind of centralize some of that information, and also provide not just for my friends, but for anyone who may be following like a concrete, honest, glimpse into like lots of different places. That's the other thing, is I really try to not just go to one type of place. So not just places in the West Loop, not just places along Milwaukee Avenue, not just in Logan Square, because there's a ton of restaurants, great restaurants in bars in Logan Square, but that there's like a lot of good food to be had everywhere. Like Chicago is such a foodie city, and I really enjoy showing the diversity of it. So
I love that. You mentioned the West Loop and Logan Square, and this is like definitely something we totally agree on for those who aren't familiar with our restaurant scene in Chicago. The majority of the restaurants, especially the ones owned by celebrity chefs or, big restaurant groups, where most of the capital and the money are in the West Loop neighborhood, in River North, Gold Coast, Logan Square, which is still like relatively new, but the restaurant scene has just exploded in that neighborhood. And so, and you mentioned, like the Chicago foodie Instagram accounts and the circuits. And of course, while we love all those accounts and we follow those, I do notice they do seem like, I like that you use the word circuit, like they are going to similar restaurants in those neighborhoods that we just mentioned. And of course, there's reason for it. Like there's money, there's capital, the celebrity chefs are there. There's a lot of buzz. You want to be seen, like all of the things, right? And that's fine. Like there are plenty of restaurants there we love and we go to and we enjoy. But and it's what I love with what you're doing with your account also, and who you are. Like when we go out to eat, this is for all of us. When we go out to eat, it is an opportunity not only to connect with others, not only to enjoy the food, to be nourished, all of it, but to use our money in a way that really aligns with our values and aligns with what it is that we want to see more of in the world, right? And so in the city, on the south and west sides, there is not as much capital investment in restaurants and bars because our city is systemically racist and the money is not going to be in those neighborhoods. So it's really, really important. And that's why I love the restaurants that you're highlighting on your account, because there's the most amazing restaurants in Brownsville, in Hyde Park. My favorite restaurant is in Pullman, Lexington Betty Smokehouse. And so for us, especially in Chicago, to be thinking about when we have the choice to go out, when we have the means to go out, where is it that we're choosing? And not just in Chicago, but everywhere, in everyone's city, in everyone's neighborhood, we have these choices. And the best we can to use our money when we go out to align with our values, the better, right?
Yeah. I think if I had to describe, if someone were to ask me what my niche is for my account, there's not really a strong one, but I really do love and I live and work on the South Side, and so I really love being able to highlight great South Side spots, because I think sometimes people just choose not to venture down here, or their whole lives, in the same way that my life is on the South Side, some people's lives are elsewhere on the North Side, on the West Side, and or Northwest, Southwest Side. But they just don't venture down here naturally. And I think in more unfortunate cases, People like don't think there is much to be seen down here sometimes.
That's right.
And so, yeah, to just highlight all of the cool businesses that are doing really cool things, making great food, creating great atmospheres, and with really cool stories too. It's just if I could, say I focus on one thing, it would be that. I definitely don't stay on the South Side. I love going everywhere, but I really enjoy the opportunity to highlight South Side spots.
I love that. And that's why y'all need to be following Chicago Master List, because you're going to see all of it, but you are going to see the restaurants that you're going to on the South and West Sides. And that's perfection. It's so good. You mentioned this earlier about how you and your dad are the most adventurous eaters in your family. And tell me about that. Like, why do you think it's important for all of us to try new foods? Like, what is that? What does like adventurous eating, in your opinion, do for us?
Yeah. Food, kind of like what I mentioned earlier, is common ground for all of us, but also there's, such massive diversity in our foods and what we cook, and in different parts of the world, and so I think being an adventurous eater or being at least intentional in trying different things is an opportunity to experience like so much of what is out there, even within like your own city. I know there's one Instagram account I follow, and a food account, and he is like trying food from every country in the world in the Chicago area, which I think is so fun. It's such a fun account to follow. If I could remember his handle right now, I wish I could, but it's such a cool concept. And just to think that all of that is here in our city, or at least in the, Chicagoland area, is amazing. But I think, when travel seems inaccessible or expensive or whatever, or intimidating, like, I think food is such an accessible way to experience the world, to experience life, and like what we eat and how we feed ourselves. I think I'm always on the hunt for how to better understand and like empathize with other people. And I think trying new foods allows me to do that better. Just to kind of like get a glimpse into what life is like for other people, like what foods are important to them and why, what tastes are important to them and why, and how they gather around a table. Like, is it shared plates? Is it, is it like one big something in the middle of the table and everybody's grabbing from it? Like, what do we center at our tables? I think is like something that builds understanding and empathy for me in a way that I really, really value. So, I love trying new foods for all those reasons.
I love that so much, because of course all of our cultural preferences, the culture that we live in, the community we live in, our ancestors, like everything is in our food and our traditions and our routines and our rituals and all of it, the way we cook, the way we eat. And so, right, to either be at someone's house experiencing those things or being out trying something new with somebody, it's just, Chloe, come on, that was so good. That's so good. Thanks. That was so good to empathize and understand people more. You can engage in trying new foods.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's like some of the other ways that we build understanding and empathy can feel like taller tasks, Yes, and still important ones, still ones that we should engage in. But I think food is so, the word that keeps coming to mind is accessible, or like it's low risk, high reward, and just
low risk, high reward.
Yeah. We all got to eat. So why not? Yeah. Try something new.
We all got to eat. I think you have titled this episode, Chloe. We all got to eat.
We all got to eat.
Listen, I like to end every episode by asking my guest, who feeds you? How are you fed yourself? Who are the people in your life, or what are some of your rituals in which you are nourished and fed?
Wow. one of them, I mean, not to be a broken record, but truly trying, like, going to restaurants, bars, coffee shops that I haven't been to before is the best. I love it. You know, I know a lot of people do. And I think sometimes when I say that, people are like, okay, like, don't we all? But I genuinely get such an immense sense of joy out of going somewhere new. And I think especially when my friends, you know, if I text them like, hey, I'm really trying to get a reservation at this place, or I just got one for 2, will you go with me? And people say like, yeah, absolutely, I'm free that day. Let's go. Let's do it. Is the best. You know, I feel so loved when people do that, just because I think they know how much it means to me, or just how much I enjoy it. My roommate and I go out to eat a lot, and both of us are like, you want to go here tonight? Or next week or this weekend or whatever. And we do it all the time. And it's been a cool way for us to, grow our relationship. We both really enjoy it. I think also anything that slows me down, I tend to be really on the go. Teaching will keep you busy all by itself, but with my involvement in church and just other life commitments, I stay pretty on the go, and people know that about me, generally speaking. And so anything that kind of forces me to slow down and be in the present moment, I find really, really important for me and like nourishing for me as well. So I've been cooking for myself more, which I'm really enjoying. I'm no Amy Dolan yet, but I'm getting there, you know. And
thank goodness you're not.
Your food always looks great.
Okay. Well, I'm only showing the good stuff.
Right. But yeah, cooking for myself more, journaling is really important for me. Being out in the sun, just like vitamin D is really, really, really great as well. And live music. I love live music. I always tell people that like if I'm with good people, listening to good music and eating good food, like that is my ideal situation in any given scenario. So
sounds like
if
a
you're
dream.
ever picked out for what to do for Chloe's birthday, or how do what should we organize? Good food, good people, and good music is always going to be food for my soul. So,
I love that. Food for your soul with good food, good music, good people. It does not get better than that.
Yeah.
I always say my love language is going out, trying a new restaurant with someone I love, and like experiencing the whole thing together. The energy, the vibe, the food, just everything makes me feel so loved and connected to who I'm with. And it's a love language. So
it's like it's a shared moment,
It's
like
a shared moment.
We're doing this together. Experiencing this newness together.
Yes. Chloe, this has been so much fun. This is the total party I was expecting and thinking when the sevens came together.
I'm so
you are
glad.
the most beautiful soul, and I'm so grateful for your account. Everyone needs to follow Chicago Master List. If you're in Chicago, just set your phone to hit up the restaurants that Chloe is telling you to go to. And if you're not in Chicago, then just be thinking about how you can try some new food, how you can experience someone else's culture through food. And let's all grow in our empathy and our understanding and our connection and our love for each other. And it's all going to be good. And let's do some dancing. It's going to be fine.
Right?
Thank you, Chloe.
Thanks, Amy. Appreciate it so much.